Yeah, yesterday morning, one of our investigators had obtained some information that there was a fairly substantial amount of methamphetamine at a residence at 937 Sutter Street here in Butte. At that time, we began preparations to obtain a search warrant for that residence, and as well as an arrest warrant for one suspect who was residing at that residence. Officers were sent to the residence to conduct surveillance, and we had planned to conduct surveillance throughout the day and eventually serve the search warrant. At one point, the male who was our primary suspect left the residence in a vehicle, and we were able to stop that individual at the corner of Main Street and Granite. We had information that the individual was armed. We were able to take him into custody without incident, and he was in fact armed with a 9mm handgun. While we were there at the scene, we called our K-9 unit. The K-9 unit came and ran around the exterior of the vehicle. The dog then indicated that there were drugs present inside the vehicle. So we began to obtain a search warrant for that vehicle so that we could tow that vehicle and search it at our garage. Now, while we were at that scene, officers remained at the scene on Sutter Street. They observed two individuals, one of which was carrying two semi-automatic rifles, came out of that residence and called for assistance at that time. So several officers responded to the scene. We were able to take those two individuals into custody and recover 3 rifles that they had on their persons and that they had stashed nearby in the front of the residence. We then obtained a search warrant. In the meantime, we'd obtained the search warrant for the residence. We believed that there was one individual still inside the residence. We were able to establish phone contact with that individual, and that individual then came out of the residence and was taken into custody also.
So you've got a total of how many people in custody?
So we detained 4 persons in relation to this incident. 3 pounds is a pretty significant amount of methamphetamine. I'm happy with getting that meth off the street. And the other thing is we removed 6 firearms from the residence, 3 handguns that were inside the residence during the search, then the 3 rifles that the other 2 individuals had, as well as the handgun that was taken away from the driver of the vehicle at Main and Granite. So we've been able to take a significant amount of methamphetamine, 3 pounds, as well as 7 firearms off the street. So it's a pretty good, successful operation from that standpoint.
How much would the value of 3 pounds of meth be?
You know, I don't know what the value would be. I could talk to one of our investigators and see what the street value of those drugs are at this point. But 3 pounds of meth is a pretty significant amount of methamphetamine.
What do you usually find on a suspect? You know, like
we generally find a gram, sometimes a quarter ounce, individually. We've recovered pounds in operations before, but 3 pounds is a pretty significant amount of meth to recover in a search warrant.
When was the last making it there?
No, I don't believe they were making it at that location. No, there's no indication of a lab at that location.
So they were more just distributors almost.
Yeah, it looks like these individuals were involved in the use and distribution of methamphetamine, and that's concerning enough as it is. But then when you add firearms to the mix, semi-automatic rifles and handguns to the mix, it makes ups the ante considerably.
Can you say if the 4, I guess that's 4, there's 4 people that are in being held, are they all Butte residents? Can you say that?
I don't know. I don't know if they are or not.
Can you give the gender breakdown?
Males, they're all males.
And when was the last time that Butte law enforcement made a bust of this size?
Oh, it's not uncommon. Sometime over the summer, we had a seizure of about the same amount on the interstate. So it's we do recover pounds of meth on occasion. When meth first came to the area, it was an ounce was a large amount to seize, but now pounds are not uncommon at all. There's a tremendous amount of meth that's entering our country basically through Mexico, and it makes its way to Montana through either Utah or Washington generally.
The vehicle that was searched, can you say what that was?
It's a Dodge pickup. I'm not sure what the year on it is.
Is it blue?
But it's blue and silver, I believe.
And was it from Lake County? Did it have Lake County tags? Blue and
That I
silver?
don't know. It was a vehicle that was at the corner of Main and Granite when everybody in town was taking pictures of it.
How
Yeah,
do
they
you
told me
feel
that.
about the way, talk about, just you being the sheriff and how your men did in responding to this and executing it?
Well, I was at both scenes, so I got to witness the officers conducting themselves at the scene. And given the threat that was potential there, I think the officers conducted themselves in an admirable way. We always like these operations to end with no injuries, and that was our goal and our objective, and we were able to get that. Plus, we were able to recover the significant amount of methamphetamine and get 7 guns off the street. So from that standpoint, it was successful also. But it's always our main focus to pull these operations off with no injuries to the officers or the suspects.
You
And-
mentioned the semi-automatic rifles. What kind of rifles are we looking at?
Looks like we had one .22 long rifle, one AK-47, and one AR-15 that were seized at the house. Those are the 3 long weapons that the individuals had prior to just when our officers observed them.
AK-47.
Then the home 937 Sutter, was that basically the people that were taken from there, were they all residents? Were any of them residents?
I believe at least 2 of the people that were detained were residents of the home. I'm not sure about the other 2.
And is the home like is it like an evidence crime scene right now? So like, can people not go? Is no one else
No,
allowed in the home?
it's the investigators are finished with their search of the home, so it's been released.
Okay.
That's where you found the most of that in the home.
Yeah, the majority of meth was recovered in the house, as well as 3 handguns. The 3 rifles had also been in the residence until the suspects removed them, while our officers were watching.
They
the house.
came out. Were they like going somewhere with them? Or?
I'm not sure whether they were going to try and hide them or if they were leaving the residence. I'm not sure what their intentions were when they left the house with the 3 long rifles. Obviously they were not aware they were under surveillance at that time, and that's probably.
Did you guys have to take them
why
down?
they did that.
Like, I mean, with force?
Well, yeah, anybody that's carrying a weapon like that was the officers drew their weapons and ordered them to get on the ground, and they did. They complied, and thankfully, all of the individuals were taken into custody without really any incident, even though there was they had a significant amount of firepower at the house and in the vehicle as well.
Had law enforcement had previous encounters with them locally?
Not any previous encounters that I'm aware of. No.
And it's 937 Sutter, correct?
Yes.
And how was the investigator tipped off? Had they
Where'd
been...
the tip?
That's something I can't talk about.
But he did get a tip that morning.
We
This
did.
is something that started this morning. It wasn't like something they've been.
Yeah, we were
Watching
able to
the program.
develop that information. I can't comment on
Okay.
whether it was new information or just developed over time.
So, did you guys have, were there SWAT people from your department that were there?
No, this was an operation conducted by our members of our patrol division, some of which are SWAT team members, but this was the traffic stop and the arrest at the scene of the house were all conducted by patrol officers. Of course, some of those are SWAT team members.
How many officers do you think were involved in this whole arrest?
I would guess probably somewhere between 12 and 14.
And so you think charges are coming today?
I believe there should be some charges filed today, today in Justice Court.
On at least 4 of the people before you got
Well, I don't know that all of them will be charged. The detectives are interviewing all of them now, and so we'll be able to have a better idea
all men?
here in the near future. Yeah, they're all male.